Hello gang, welcome to my channel. My name is Lara, for those who don't know me, and today we're going to talk about my Levator Avulsion and Prolapse and living with it, and what I've been doing to improve my symptoms, stuff that I've learned along the way, fear-mongering information and trying to squash all of that jazz. And I'm just coming from a place of what I've learnt about my body, so you can become an expert in yours, because I have only really started uncovering this complete asymmetry mess up that comes with an avulsion now, and this is 6 years later after being diagnosed when I first gave birth with my first son back in 2019. I want this information out there to be spread, because I've been looking at statistics on how many people have got a Levator Avulsion, because when I type into Instagram, the hashtag is like 100. You know how it looks for the number of people who've tagged it, and I believe there's a lot more, and actually there is. Worldwide it says between 10 to 30% of women have a Levator Avulsion. So let me just talk to you about what that is, because I think it's important for us to share what's going on in our bodies so that other women feel comfortable sharing too, and they don't feel lost and don't feel alone, like I was. So an avulsion, or a Levator Avulsion, as I've come to understand it from working with numerous different pelvic floor physios and osteopaths and chiropractors and consultants in birth system, is it's a muscle that's come off of the pubic bone. Yes, and it's there to support the pelvic floor. So for me, mine is a right-sided one. So this is off the pubic bone. There is a gap, and that's never going to come back. So when I was first diagnosed with that, I had no idea what the hell they were talking to me about. Okay, you want me to do Kegels? Why? What are Kegels? Okay, this is new, but I didn't do it because I didn't understand the ramifications of my life until slowly, year upon year, then having a second baby, and then just moving forward in my life and not feeling myself still. So I want to help people understand that this causes asymmetries in the body. And I'm going to explain how I train myself now and what seems to be working, because I then am not having symptoms with my prolapse. And we'll go into the things that I've tried and what I haven't tried, what I've tried and what's not worked, what has worked. So the common challenges then with a prolapse. So I have stage 1/2. You can get diagnosed by a pelvic floor physio or osteopath. Some people have said that they've been diagnosed with a GP. I don't know if they can. I would always err on the side of caution and go to a specialist in pelvic floor, and someone who makes you feel empowered and supported. Don't just go to someone just because they're a pelvic floor physio and they tell you something and you feel uncomfortable and then you left feeling a little lost. You can watch my video on what to expect in an internal pelvic floor physio session. I'll put the description below. So with a prolapse, you will be diagnosed with either stage 1, 2, 3 or 4, and that's organs coming out of your vagina. Now I say that because in air marks, because I used to fear, up until recently, my organs falling out my vagina every time I would move or sneeze or laugh or run or jump, and that's just not the case. And it's scary, because as soon as you get diagnosed with a prolapse, you're like, okay, Google, what do I have to do, what do I have to not do? And they just say, you can never squat again, never lift heavy things again. And you're like, well, I lift a child, I squat all the time walking around in my life. How should I just stay mummified in my house? So it's scary, and that's wrong. I'm going to list the things that I've been doing in the description as well. I've done so many different courses and retrained as well into new postpartum rehab recovery, like everything. I'm going to go into that a bit more later. I'm going to try and keep this nice, short and sweet, but I really want to get this information out there because it's important. So yes, so a prolapse is feeling that heaviness, that bulging, that like a tampon coming out of your vagina. Now, I just learnt recently, just last week, that if you have a stage 1, it's more likely that you're going to feel symptoms than if you're stage 4. And I was like, what the hell is, how? And because there's more tissue in the entrance or the exit of the vagina, so you feel more there than you would if they're slightly further out. And now let me step back a little bit. Your organs are not falling out of your vagina. They are the pressure of the organs, the rectum, the bowel, the uterus, pushing down on tissue. So everything is still very much attached with tissue, with fascia. There's so much going on, keeping everything up. It's not just your pelvic floor that's a sling of muscles and then you're just like, crap, all my organs are coming through this sling of muscles, which is what I used to think only up until recently, because that's what the internet tells you, makes you feel. It's not the case, so I'm squashing that. Movement. Movement is so important to do to help improve your prolapse. And yet we are told not to move. And Anthony Lowe, who's a physio, he's called Physio Detective if you want to follow him on Instagram. He's very much about squashing fear. And it's amazing because one of his quotes says, women's health is, you can't save women's health is, it's not holistic health if you're trying just to save a vagina. So what it kind of means is what I was saying, in that you need to move. It's not just about doing Kegels. There's so much more to you, to your body, to alignment, to posture, to breathing, to hydration, to food, to how you sit on a toilet, to like your mental load, to the tightness in your body, the tissues. It's just crap information. So move your body. I've found, since working with myself, that if I move and I lift weights, something that I used to fear because I was diagnosed with this prolapse avulsion, the more I move, the better I feel. And there's so much evidence behind movement, and I will do my best to find the studies that have been shared to me by all these different experts that I've been following, and I'll share that in the description. So please feel this, just fear information shared on Google, and I want to give you the right information. So just, it's normal to feel scared, but know that you can do so much, and there's so many people out there who have like improved their symptoms drastically from like really severe prolapse. And going back to Anthony Lowe, he talks about how no one says, oh, you've got like laxity or a boob prolapse, but we do it with our vaginas, and it's just wrong. And it's a normal laxity to have. It's so common to have a prolapse. Right, going back to avulsions, because if you have been diagnosed with a levator avulsion, left, right, some people can have both, then maybe you have seen a pelvic floor physio. If you haven't, please see one. I have been tried to be fitted for what's called a pessary. That is puts inside you, and you should be fitted for a pessary, not just given a pessary. You should also be told how to remove the pessary if that is one that you remove. They act as a support for your pelvic floor. You still need to do full body movements. You still need to work on your asymmetries. You still need to work on your breath and your posture, and that's what we're going to go into a bit more. Please don't get overwhelmed by this. I would try not to overwhelm. So I have been fitted for numerous pessaries and none of them fit because the avulsion, because they just slip out because they've got nothing to attach on the other side. So the cube was what one of my pelvic floor physios had suggested because it's a suction. However, the bigger one was what she suggested would fit. I could not get my head around putting it inside. It was just too big. So far I haven't got a pessary. I haven't been fitted one. If you have been fitted for a pessary and you're using it, please don't feel like this is a negative thing. It's an amazing thing. Like, you've got that support. Now you can work on strengthening all of your muscles. Pessaries are brilliant. So please know that progress is slow. It's not just, okay, this is the exercise we're going to do and I'm going to be fixed after 4 weeks. No. I've been doing this for 6 years and I only feel like I've figured it out now. But I don't want this to put you back. But I think there's misinformation there shared about how many asymmetries happen in the body and how we just focus on doing Kegels. Trust me, I've done Kegels for years. I've done Pilates. I've tried to something else. It's not worked for me. Now, progress looks different. The other thing that I found out was that for myself, holding tension in my body and holding fear made my symptoms worse. And I thought, well, because you're tensing up. So I'm an ab gripper. I grip my ribs up the top and I squeeze my glutes really hard because I'm so worried that my organs are going to fall out my vagina that I've tensed everything up, and then that causes more symptoms. So knowing in your mind that your organs are not falling out your vagina, and not to fear it and to let go, to relax, to breathe, can really help see some improvement. So it's the mindset shift when we're dealing with things like this. I did mention pessaries. Another thing that you could do if you want to feel supported are support garments. Like I've used this SRC ones for incontinence with the shorts, and I thought, well, how's this going to work? It doesn't feel any different, but it's kind of meant to cinch you in a little bit in the hip and meant to support your pelvic floor when you are doing training like exercise, weight training, things like that. Make you feel better. So anything that makes you feel better, whether it's a placebo effect or not, will help with the mindset, will help you relax, will help you let go, will help you move better, will help you feel less symptoms, like that chicken and egg sort of thing. The things that I'm doing now, I wanted this to be a 12-minute thing and it's ended up being longer, but the things I'm doing right now are working on my asymmetries. Because I've got a right-sided avulsion, my right, let me explain, I'm going to show you. My right deep hip rotator muscles in my right glute are taking over. So I need to relax those, and then I need to work on my glute max, the bigger muscle. And then because I'm trying to stabilize, my left side is then more dominant, but my left adductor isn't. And then my left glute is strong, but I've been carrying my child on my right hip. So it means that my right glute, you'd think, is strong, but it's tensing. So a tense muscle doesn't actually mean strength. So I've had to do a lot of work to let go of that right glute max to work on it better rather than those deep hip rotator muscles. I've also got this rib gripping, which means I then need to relax and let go and breathe. So I do a lot of breath work. I do a lot of asymmetrical work. I do a lot of priming exercises before I then go into doing my heavy lifts. When I do a squat, currently my pelvis is misaligned because of the avulsion. So I need to stagger my feet. My left foot is slightly 1 to 2 centimeters more forward than my right. when I'm in a squat and when I'm doing a deadlift. When I'm doing a hip thrust, a barbell hip thrust, my feet are even more staggered so that I really don't let that deep hip rotator muscle on my glute take over, and I use more of my glute max. Making sure that my feet are planted on the ground and I'm not rotating and lifting my big toe, because then my adductors, my inner thighs, stop being on. This might be overwhelm city, I'm sorry, but I just wanted you to know what I've been doing. And I even stagger my stance when I'm doing like rows. I just want you to know that whatever your stance looks like in an exercise, it doesn't matter. Everyone's bodies are so unique and so different. It's just important to figure out your asymmetries and start strengthening and working on that. But it doesn't mean that you have to just sit there doing rehab and doing Kegels at the fucking traffic lights. You can have fun with this. Like, I'm having fun finally now, and I'm actually noticing improvements once I've figured out what's going on for me. So when you feel empowered, when you learn what works for you, I don't understand why this information isn't shared postpartum, but it can get quite a lot, can't it? Overwhelming. I hope this has helped. Like, if you have questions on what I've just shared, please comment below. I want to know what your concerns are, where you feel lost, how I can help in any way. Like, I've learned from loads of different people. I'll share all the information in the description. I'm currently going through a certification with Dr. Sarah Duval, postpartum corrective exercise specialist course. But I want to share from me living with this currently on my own journey as a mum with 2 boys and doing this stuff to make my body feel strong. And I feel strong, and I have this avulsion and a prolapse, and I know things can improve, but I want you all to know that too. So if this has resonated with you, please share with another mum who's maybe struggling with prolapse or pelvic floor dysfunction or doesn't know what to do and feels very lost. I will share all the information I can in the description. If you do want to hear more from me, if that prattle on has still encouraged you to listen to more of what I share, then I have an email list that I generally share a lot of information on. I'm very honest and open because I feel a bit more comfortable doing that on an email than I do on Instagram and stuff like that, and actually YouTube. So I'll share a link below. You can join my newsletter